guys. I appreciate your patience. This is a warm welcome on another Thursday with Mind of My Own podcast. I'm your host, Kenda. It is good to see you all. Hello, hello, hello. Well, I've got some amazing guests with me today. I am super excited about today's show. I'm going to introduce you to both of these amazing ladies, and they are going to share some information about themselves that I feel is extremely valuable, not just to me, but to every single one of you. So let's get the show started. All right. So I'm going to start with my girl, Tashima. Tashima Dean.
Hello,
Hello, love. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
I am so grateful to be here to share everything that I'm a part of. I am the founder and CEO and president of Fight AAA, which is an nonprofit organization that supports individuals who are dealing with anxiety, addiction, and adversity. So my job is to provide the essential resources to help people overcome and fight the battle.
I love it. I'm going to actually clap for that, baby.
Thank you.
I'm going to clap for that. That's amazing. I love the work that you're doing. And you and I met at a networking event.
Yes.
At the Collective, right?
Yes. I actually, so I also have a travel business. It's called Flights or Fights.
Ooh, I like
AAA, because when you're dealing with stress and anxiety and adversity, you got to get away. So that was the perfect name for my my travel agency.
Definitely very clever. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks again for coming.
Yes,
ma'am. And we have Deanna. Hey, girl.
Hey.
I actually put up a post that I was looking for someone who specialized in mental health and who could help us help other people with some of the key things out there that people are experiencing and not always talking about, like anxiety, depression, PTSD. So someone professional as well, who's doing this every day, sees these types of patients, and there you were.
Yeah, someone tagged me. I can't think of who it was. And we linked.
That girl, thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
Because it was on the fly. I hit her up in the inbox like, hey.
I'm like, who's this in my DMs? No. Hey, Kenda.
Hey, I'm actually going to clap for you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes. What you do is so amazing. Can you share with everybody what you're doing right now and what you're leading to?
So I am a nurse practitioner, certified in primary care internal medicine, and then went back for recertification in mental health.
Okay.
So right now I treat the gamut of psychiatric conditions, from depression, anxiety, PTSD, to some of our more chronic, persistent conditions like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of the medicine lady on that side. So we have our therapists, and then we also have me, who can offer some of medicinal help, pharmaceutical wise, if they need extra things. So right now I'm working at a community organization called the Gerald Ignace Indian Health Center. So we treat a large population of Native Americans in the city, but also everyone else. So I see all ethnicities there. But
kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you.
You are doing amazing things, both of you ladies. Oh my God. I'm very, very excited to speak to you both, because I have something in common with what you both are advocates on. Anxiety. I've had it for like all my life, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I think it's something that everyone suffers with in some way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of how much anxiety, right? Because some of us have severe anxiety, and that's where we need a little bit more help. But even on the day-to-day, I think everybody could use a little bit of help figuring out how to manage anxiety.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I wanted to get you ladies' feedback or thoughts on what anxiety looks like. Like you said, there's different levels of it. Less, more. I know personally, for me, my anxiety tends to kick in when I'm super excited about doing something. The fear of failure will cause me to feel the anxiety. Some of it can be when I'm in large crowds, and I'm not sure of if it's safe or not, it can trigger my anxiety as
Social
well.
anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, social anxiety.
Mhm.
That is a
Mhm.
big one.
That is
Mhm.
serious.
That's a big one.
It holds you back from a lot of potential of actually doing things.
Yeah.
So the thing with anxiety is that it's actually, anxiety is natural. It's something that we're all supposed to experience. You know, just like if you're because it lets the body know, the brain know that you're in a fear mode, like not fear, but
It's like a protective state.
Protective state. So you know, if you're driving down the street and somebody almost hits you or you hit somebody, that feeling that you get, that's anxiety, and that's the healthy anxiety.
Okay.
Now the unhealthy anxiety is when it's called amygdala. It's in our brain, when it gets overpopulated with all of that tension, you know, and because we only can take so much.
Yeah. So
you
is it
know,
like triggers or?
yes. So a lot of it
Okay.
has to stem from trauma. So if you say you experienced something when you were a child,
Mhm.
and it can be attachment disorder from your parents or whatnot, or it can be anything, you know, maybe you were beaten or sexually assaulted or anything. It's embedded within your brain, you know, within your subconscious. And later on, it can turn into, if you don't really address it right away, go to therapy, actually find things to actually cope with that trauma, it can turn into anxiety.
Yeah.
And for me, my anxiety turned into addiction. So I was an alcoholic. I'm actually in sobriety right now from alcohol.
Yes,
Thank
girl.
you.
Can I clap for you?
Yes, thank you. It was hard. Thank you. It was hard, you know, living in Wisconsin, this beer state, you know, that was a hard thing.
Yeah.
But it started in 2018. I actually I had weight loss surgery. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people just think, okay, you're having weight loss surgery. But when you're not right up here mentally, it can uncover so many hidden things that's within you mentally.
Yeah.
So think about going throughout life, just covering up things. You know, you're not really addressing the things that you dealt with in your life, childhood, teenage life, adult life, and you're trying to cover that up. But when you go through surgery, you have to focus on surgery. So you no longer can actually attend to those things of, like, you know, trying to cover up those scars, those wounds. You have to focus on that surgery.
Yeah.
So my trauma and my issues, my mental illness, anxiety started to seep out. You know, I started to have like I would lash out when I think somebody was attacking me, you know, or when I felt like I would get defensive. Yeah. You know, work started to get very stressful. As soon as I got off work, I would go straight to happy hour. I would be at happy hour from the time it started to the time it ended to the time the bar closed. Wow. It got so bad. But that was because I was trying to hide from what was going on with me personally.
And you have been sober for how long, dear?
It's almost a year. So September 2nd would be a year.
Yeah. That's dope. Yes. You have really, really
thank you.
Gotten a hold of who you want to be moving forward.
It was all God.
Girl.
All God.
I can see it. And
yeah, glory to God.
Let's give a clap for God, right? Yeah. We gonna clap for God. Yes. Because God out here touching people, helping us change our lives, helping us touch other people's lives. Both of you ladies are doing that because of God.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your experience and
yeah, I was just gonna back up a little bit too and to talk about anxiety. So a lot of anxiety is related to stress, and it's a stress response, like she said. So on a little bit of a nerdy side, when we're feeling stress, our brain is secreting certain neurotransmitters, right? So that fight or flight, you're getting certain neurotransmitters. The problem is, for some people, you're not in a fight or flight mode, but you're still secreting those neurotransmitters because of stress. And research shows, I'll just, specifically ethnically, Black Americans, if you account for, you can be wealthy, same socioeconomic status more than a Caucasian person, and your life expectancy is lower. And a lot of that is dealing with that stress on a level. Your body is constantly in this fight or flight mode, whether you know it or not, and you're secreting these neurotransmitters. And so that's where anxiety comes into. Wow. And I was just going to say, with addiction, it's a big part of it, right? We cope. We teach our patients all about coping skills, right? And we talk about medications. Alcohol, if you look, I mean, it's a drug, it's a medicine, right? Marijuana is a medicine, antidepressants are a medicine. So you're using medications to try to treat what's going on with you. The problem is with things like alcohol and marijuana and cocaine and, heroin, is that, you have successfully maybe treated a part of it because you're not feeling that in that moment, but you haven't fixed it, right? So it's really not treated.
It's like a Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid. It's still there. And now it's worse because now you have accompanying guilt and shame for using the substances and having to do what you need to do to keep using them. So it just compounds the problem.
Right.
But the reaction to go to them is human and makes sense. We just have to educate ourselves to look at things differently, seek the professional help that we need, and not, go about it the unhealthy way.
Yeah, so absolutely. Yes. I'm going to clap for that. That was solid advice. Really great way of putting it. I've never heard it that way before. And I think that's what we need to hear. A lot of people need to know the why behind something in order for it to stick, in order for it to, stick with them, stay with them, and help them to educate someone else as well and help someone else through it. So thank you for that. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
What would you ladies suggest for coping? What are some of the coping options that people have that can get them immediately back to where they need to be? For example, if someone has anxiety on the road, which I have had before. You ever had two semi trucks right on the side of you, one in the front, one behind you? Oh my God, I thought I was about to die.
A friend of mine did pass away that way.
Oh my gosh.
That escalates things. That fear is real. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Positive affirmation.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
You have to talk some positivity to yourself during those moments, because that's the only thing that's going to get you through, because the outcome is you got to get past these trucks. We can't think about, of course, we're going to feel it. We're going to feel the anxiety, because a lot of people think that first anxiety starts in our mind. It actually does. It starts in our body from the neck down.
Wow.
So you're going to feel it in your stomach first, or you're going to feel it in your shoulders, and you're going to feel it maybe in your palm. Your hands are going to be sweating. And then it's going to go to your mind, because it's letting your brain know, okay, we're in worry mode.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Wow. So, you know what? Now that you said that is absolutely correct. So I have scoliosis. I was in a really bad sledding accident when I was like 12. I hit a tree and I'm on the sled, and my two younger sisters are behind me, and my dad's yelling, lean with the sled, because the tree's in front of us. We can't do anything. We're going down a hill. And I'm thinking, let's avoid the collision. If I stick my legs out, I can keep my sisters from being hurt. I'm thinking all this as a kid, and this is one of my traumas. I'm trying to save my sister's life. I'm trying to save all our lives, because I'm right in the front. I see the tree. It's right ahead of me.
Right.
This will never go away. So I stuck my legs out, instant impact, hit the tree. Now my spine is messed up. I immediately got fractures in my spine, and so now I have scoliosis. It affects the way I walk. Depending on the way that I'm feeling, I can have back spasms, I can have stomach aches. Sometimes I have both at the same time. There have been times where if I'm experiencing that type of anxiety on the road, I've had a back spasm. Wow. To where I've had to pull over on the side of the road and wait till it subsides. And sometimes it can last up to 5 minutes. 5 minutes in that type of pain can feel like,
and it's because your body is tensing
I'm
up.
super tense. So that explains. I always wondered, why is it that when my anxiety is triggered on the road, do I get back spasms? Why do I start to feel pain in my neck? Why do I start to feel like I just can't handle anything at that time? I can't drive.
Because
that makes a lot of sense.
It's a neural response.
Yeah.
Because it's going to attack those areas first. And have you ever heard of those, the young kids? They always have those stomach problems, and they always have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's me.
They're going through anxiety.
I know. And it's gotten worse as I got older. When I have to, I love to travel. I love it. And it's something I love to do, but anytime before I travel, I'm not sleeping that night. And my stomach hurts. I get a little bubble guts.
Yeah.
Every time now.
And
I don't
that's
feel bad
anxiety.
about
Me
it.
too.
It's the anxiety for sure.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
I was just telling her before we were coming in, I said, even though I've done how many shows and I talk to people all the time, I still experience that anxiety
Yeah.
right before. It's that little bit of fear.
Yeah.
It never goes away. It feels like butterflies in your belly.
Mhm.
Your chest feels like it's falling 10 feet down.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
don't
Right.
you?
But even
Yeah.
one little positive response of you taking a different approach is going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Well, just seeing you ladies, automatically my mood changed. But just on the way here,
That's-
Absolutely.
yeah, just
Mhm.
seeing you ladies, I'm like, look at them. They're here today. This is
Mhm.
going to be a great show.
Mhm.
We've got something powerful to discuss, and it goes away.
Mhm.
You wouldn't even know.
Those
Mhm.
positive I
Yeah.
thought she was talking about.
Yeah.
There's a deep breathing exercise I teach a lot of my patients. It's a really simple one, but it helps you talk about being tense.
Yeah.
You clenched up, so we got to relax, right?
Yeah.
Anxiety, we got to relax.
Yeah.
And so that's why some people use other things to relax. But a deep breathing exercise is called 478. And maybe we could do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Y'all watch it.
478.
Y'all watch it.
Ready.
Let's
Deep
do this.
breathing. Okay.
Keep your eyes on her.
So you inhale for 4 seconds. So we're going to inhale. We're going to hold it for 7 seconds. And then exhale for 8 seconds. And then you repeat. Inhale 4. Hold it 7. Exhale 8. And something about specifically those measurements has been researched time over and time again to be helpful. We all know about deep breathing. Are you doing your deep breathing?
Yeah.
But that's a specific deep breathing technique that you can use in a pinch. 4, 7, 8. Remember it.
I feel like I should do that again.
It helps me to get out of panic attacks.
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
Panic attacks.
Because I used to get panic attacks throughout the night. And deep breathing exercises actually helps me to snap out of it. Not laying in the bed. I have to actually get up and do those. Because when you're laying in the bed, it really doesn't, your body has to be aligned where you're up and everything is kind of,
Open that diaphragm.
Yeah. And then, so you can breathe and that oxygen can flow and get to the brain and all of that. So yes, it actually helps with eliminating panic attacks.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. I'm going to tell you, ladies, another scary story. Maybe you can share a story with me about a time your anxiety kicked in and what you did at that moment. That fight for flight thing, man, that's one hell of a thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Man, that's one hell of a thing. I was at game 6, Bucks game, Deer District, when they won that game.
What a game.
What one hell of a game it was.
It was recent. I mean, came up my timeline.
Yeah,
too.
the memories.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell y'all what happened. I get there and we couldn't find parking. And it was extremely crowded. And immediately my body's like, are you sure you wanted to go through this? And my mind's like, quit playing. This is the Bucks. What do you mean? So it's like my body's fighting itself internally, but I don't look like it is, Finally find parking, long walk, finally get there. This is before all of the amazing things are downtown right now. There was a gravel road. And at first we arrived, there's barely anyone there. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. There's not too many people. We good.
Right.
Time goes by. I start to realize I don't got no water. Time goes by. I start to realize there's nowhere to sit. Then I realize, where's the bathroom?
You're piling.
I start to go into this panic
Mm-hmm.
of there's nowhere for me to disappear to. There's nowhere for me to find any type of sanctuary. There's nothing for me to find some type of comfort in, whether it's a sip of water, a piece of gum, something. I had nothing. And I was with my man at the time and we had just started dating. It was actually our first date. And we're maybe there about 15 minutes or so. Me and him talking, having a good time. I look up and I realize there are like thousands of people around me. All of a sudden, I don't know where all these people came from, but I'm in the middle of this crowd. And I think it was at least 20, 30,000 people there that day. I have no idea, but there was a ridiculous amount of people downtown. And I don't know what happened, but airplanes went by. It was loud. The crowd was screaming. It was loud. The TV was going. The game was on. And I'm just this 5'5" person. And I look around and it's 6'2" 8 feet. I don't know. They look tall as hell. And I'm small, passed out.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
that happened to me.
I completely passed out, and I've never fainted in my entire life. It was the first time I ever fainted. When I tell you, they screamed and said, because the Bucks must have, they got some points on the board.
Wow.
That energy hit me so heavy. No warning, no nothing.
In the crowd of people as they're going insane. So I'm just thinking about how dangerous that
yes,
is.
It's
too,
extremely
right?
dangerous.
You're on the ground, hoping not to get trampled.
Well, he was holding me. I passed out, and I said to him, "We need to leave."
Okay.
And he's like, "Why?"
Right.
It's our first date, and he's looking like, "Why we need to leave?" He's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what the hell is you talking about? We just got here. And I didn't know that I didn't realize how critical my situation was until my mouth started to feel dry. Yeah. And then I felt my breathing kind of get light and faint. Right. And then I don't even know what happened. I just blanked out. And he said I was out for at least 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
He said there was at least twice I tried to wake up and I wouldn't wake. And he's like, I don't know what was wrong with you. I didn't know if you were on some type of drug, or he said, I didn't know if you had some type of underlying health condition or what. And I'm like, I have anxiety. And up until today, I didn't realize I couldn't be in places like this without certain things. And my survival instinct had kicked in so heavy. I think that all of that combined with the congestion and everything just knocked me out. Yeah. I had to leave.
And you were actually providing layers to your anxiety. So you already noticed the feeling in your body. But instead of you actually recognizing that and changing how you, control the environment or you thought about everything else negative, and that just piled up on top.
It made it worse.
You were doing it. Yeah, you were doing it. Your blood pressure was rising at that time. So
it's a million things that went wrong.
Yeah, your heart started beating fast. Your breath got shallow. Things differently that could have been done if you were in that situation. Maybe, have somebody with you that now knows that this could happen. Some kind of signal, hey, I'm going there now. And then ground yourself. Like you're safe. You're okay. I'm with you. And we're going to do some deep breathing because you need the oxygen. We're not passing out today.
Oxygen, water.
Carry your snacks or whatever you need for your blood sugar doesn't drop.
And then now, I'm quite sure
I know that now.
Right? For me, I like to get to places like that early. I got to get there early. I got to know where I'm sitting at. I got to know what's going on, because a lot of all of that extraness is a trigger for me.
Me too. By me downtown triggers the hell out of me. Parking down there.
So I have to know, like, I don't want to park, so I'll catch an Uber or something so it can ease the stress. So by us knowing that we have anxiety, we can actually control it just by making little steps. Getting to places early, having somebody with you, having water.
Just being prepared.
Being prepared. But that's about knowing what those triggers are in the first place. So being aware enough to know, not just, I keep having these panic attacks. I don't know why. There's probably a why, but we have to figure out what the why is. Like, when do you notice these things happening? So finding out what the triggers are. And then if they're some of the triggers are avoidable, right? Some situations people are in where they have anxiety. They don't have to be in those situations.
They don't.
But they go to those situations anyway.
Right.
So we got to, talk about that part too. But otherwise, anxiety is a very uncomfortable feeling. But we don't want, the goal of treatment is to not let it stop you from doing what you need to do. So if you're having that same situation when you're out at the grocery store, which some people have, you need to go to the grocery store, right? So we have to get to a point where we're able to do that.
I have an auntie who, she doesn't really come outside. And when I was a kid, I don't remember her doing this, but as I got older, it's now everybody in the family just knows, like, she's not coming outdoors. Wow. That right there is an example of how things can be, right? How they can get you to a place where the world is very scary. It's unrecognizable and you don't feel like you fit in the world. And so that kind of leads me to, and I want to give some of you ladies examples too about some of your anxiety, but that just kind of leads me to how there are other areas in mental health that can really put you in the dark. You know what I mean? Definitely. So And I want to talk about some of those other serious conditions too.
For sure.
Which one of you would like to go first with your example? I would like to just kind of hear like how you got out of one of your worst anxiety circumstances.
I mean, I don't have any. I can't think nothing as traumatic
Okay.
as you've experienced. I was a crier.
Okay.
Like just being in uncomfortable situations. I feel like now I realize it's just where I have a lack of control.
Mhm.
So for me, I think I need some control in a situation. So I just remember being in undergrad, and it was the silliest thing. I feel so. There was a library book. I got to graduate.
Yeah.
This librarian is telling me you're not graduating because you owe this library book. I'm like, I don't know what this is. It's like Paddington Bear. Okay,
Wow.
I'm in college. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I
Yeah.
have no control. I had a loss of words. I start panicking, and then here comes the tears.
Yeah.
So then I'm embarrassed. I'm in front of this lady, in front of students, just crying about a Paddington Bear library book.
I feel for you.
Just so embarrassing. And I would have situations like that. I think just period. I haven't had them recently. I think.
That's great.
I think working in mental health has kind of made me a little bit more resilient, maybe in that
Yeah.
nature.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I was just crying.
Oh, girl.
Okay.
But you know what? That you were scared.
Yeah, I was scared. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, when we're not in control and we know that we're not in control, especially when we're used to being in control, it can cause anxiety.
Yeah.
So I firsthand know about that.
Can't believe they were gonna do that to you.
Exactly.
My goodness. I'm sorry. Go ahead, dear. That's crazy.
So let me see. Oh, I have so many examples. Let me get to. So for a panic attack, I remember the first time I experienced. Well, I'm not gonna talk. I went to Dominican Republic. Caught myself trying to snorkel.
Mhm.
No, I can't swim, but I think anybody would have been in a panic attack during that. So that's not a good example. But I was working. So I work at the VA, and I was working in this department where we had a lot of responsibility, and I had a lot of responsibility. And I was friends with one of the girls, and she had called in, and she had told me why she was calling in. And she said that she was going to a party, going out of town or whatnot.
Okay.
And she called in. And I didn't say anything, because that's not my place to say anything. So I guess one of the nurses said that because she was on sick leave restriction, and they said that I said that she called in because she was going out of town, but she said she was calling in because she went to the hospital. I didn't really care, like I don't have nothing to do with it. I'm just telling you what she told me.
Yeah.
So my supervisor wanted to write me up because they said I lied. Technically, I didn't lie. I just didn't really take anybody's side because y'all really don't know what she said. She's on the other phone, she's on the other line. I'm the only person on the phone. You can't really tell me what she's saying.
Right.
So they tried to write me up and said that I was going to get suspended. I had never got suspended before. And I felt like I was being attacked, and I was in the office. I had the union in there. And this is when a lot of things was going on in my life. And I just felt this I don't know, like something hit me, and I flew against the wall in the office, and I lost, like I couldn't breathe or anything, and I was really trying to catch my breath, but I could really feel like a lot of the air was coming from my stomach, but it was so scary to the point they were scared because they didn't know what was going on. But I was just I was shocked by because I had never got written up.
Sure.
But so they ended up telling me I had to go to the ER to see what was going on with me. The ER didn't really find anything specific. I knew it was a panic attack because I know about panic attacks.
Yeah.
But just to be in that situation of just feeling like you're being attacked, and you're doing the best that you can. You don't want to, snitch on anybody or whatnot. But that was my first, one of my first experiences.
Girl.
And I have so many other examples of panic attacks, but I haven't had a panic attack since last year.
So do you think that also was maybe some social anxiety too, just a little bit of that too in that situation? Because you had all those people, right, that were accusing you of doing something that was outside of your character. And I think that probably was the big thing is like, hey, don't attack my character. That's not okay.
Right. Well, it wasn't. So I had the union there that they were on my side.
Okay.
I think it was the fact that a lot of things were kind of uncovering because I had just had my surgery and I was still going out to, I was drinking. I had already started to drink and going out. I had a social environment and all of that. See, I got married young and I didn't really socialize and go out. So when I got divorced, I'm like, okay, I'm going to enjoy my life. Yeah. And I started to do things in moderation. But the surgery kind of, a lot of things that were uncovered were now uncovered.
Yeah.
That were covered. Exactly. So, so I had already had some issues going on, high blood pressure and all of that. And that was from, the drinking. So, I don't think it was the social anxiety. The social anxiety didn't really start until after COVID. Now, COVID opened up, caused a lot of social anxiety for people. And because I was never an individual that I was scared to be in certain, rooms or crowds or anything.
You know what? I think that, COVID definitely put a lot of people in different places, that probably places they never thought that they would be.
Right. Yeah.
And they still doing stuff these days where I'm like, you didn't learn from COVID? But that's a good point. That's a good point right there.
Yeah.
Wow. So I also want to talk to you ladies about some other pieces when it comes to mental health. So earlier we had mentioned that PTSD, and we also talked about social anxiety a bit. So I think some people don't really understand what those things are. And I feel like sometimes the terminology is being a little loosely used.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to talk a little bit more about what those things are, how people can see the symptoms or see that in their family, maybe at an earlier stage, so that it doesn't progress to get so bad in their adult life. Because I truly believe that, I think, and I could be wrong, so that's why I would like the clarity. But I think that the PTSD stems from everything just kind of piling itself on, and undealt with traumas, of course. People can experience all type of things that make them, sometimes see things that aren't there, and even sometimes feel things, like feel that the world is completely against them and that they're all alone. And it can be very, very dangerous.
Definitely.
So if please help me understand it more and help everybody else understand it more, and how to get a grips of it, and also how to recognize it, so that they can help people and say, hey, I think you might be experiencing this. Or not that people need to diagnose each other or anything, but, just knowing some of the things is not so bad, to be educated and maybe help someone through if you see certain things, right? So what do you ladies think?
I'll say, so PTSD, what it is post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's an anxiety disorder. There's different types. There's acute, there's chronic. Acute PTSD is, so for example, when you had your accident, you were probably exhibiting a lot of symptoms, anxiety symptoms. If those symptoms are just in those first 3 months after the accident, the incident, the traumatic event, that's just acute. If it lasts beyond that, we usually call it's chronic.
Wow.
Symptoms of PTSD include panic attacks, flashbacks of the incident, nightmare sometimes, combativeness, absolutely, being hypervigilant and just like more aware of your surroundings than you normally would be.
Hallucinations.
Yes, that can happen as well. Yep.
Wow. So that's a lot. So if someone comes to you and says, like, I'm experiencing any of those things, recommend that they see a specialist?
And I would probably start with a therapist or some type of counselor to let them know what's going on. They can talk about how you're feeling, get some accurate diagnoses. Also, hallucinations can be other things too. Depression. You can have very severe depression that causes hallucinations.
Wow.
Insomnia.
I didn't know that.
And who sleeps? I don't know. Not insomnia. There's something called hypnagogic hallucinations too, which are kind of normal. So if you're falling asleep or waking up, you can hallucinate. That's kind of in the realm of normal. That's not something that you necessarily need to, something's wrong with me.
Okay.
But if it's outside of those parameters, there's something that's going wrong. It could be bipolar disorder and you're in a manic phase. It could be schizophrenia or some type of schizoaffective disorder, which is very much so characterized by having hallucinations. But definitely talk to somebody. It's okay. We can talk to people.
Yeah, fine. I mean, that's something that I have taken comfort in, is when I find myself in a situation that I'm like, I can feel like to myself, I'm like, you're overdoing it. You're overdoing it. Just breathe. Just breathe. What are you freaking out about? I'll tell myself that, and I'm like, you need to call somebody. Call somebody you trust right now. I don't care if they give you 5 minutes of their time.
That's good.
It's amazing having support.
Yeah.
Like the people who have support they fare much better than the people who don't have support. Not everyone has the luxury of having that support.
Yeah.
But if you do, that's a blessing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely a blessing, guys. So if you all have any questions, you can start dropping those in the chat. We are all here to help you guys understand this a little better and help your family and your friends. I see a few comments here. Let me just see what we've got. Oh, thank you. She said hair popping. All right now. All right now. Let's see what she's got here. Yes, large crowds does it for me. I can't really do concerts because of that. I feel you, Michaela. I feel you. Is it Michaela? Michaela. Sorry about that. I feel you. That is one of my biggest things. She said entirely too many people were there. Yes, you were there exactly 2 years ago. But are y'all still together, or did the fainting make that first and last date? That's a great question. We're still together.
Claps for him supporting you throughout that incident.
I didn't think he was ever gonna want to see me again. I'm not gonna lie, did my anxiety trigger because of that? I was so embarrassed. And I start walking really fast. He like, where are you going? So I can laugh at it now, but back then that was it took me through, y'all.
I can imagine.
All right, I fell out in Skybox. That's where I had I had a seizure. Oh. Yeah. That was so I definitely understand. I was embarrassed.
Was it alcohol related?
Yeah, alcohol related. Yeah.
Wow, girl.
And that's when I was diagnosed with anxiety and dehydration. So yeah, I definitely understand when you say you were embarrassed and you didn't know how a person was going to feel or think about you after that. But people are understanding.
Yeah,
they are definitely understanding.
Yeah, he was like, I've never seen anyone with anxiety. He's like, I don't think I've met anyone with it before.
Probably has,
and I'm like, yeah, it's common. You probably just never seen anybody fall out from it.
Yeah.
So that was very, very embarrassing. But I can talk about it now, and that's also a way that I just kind of get through it. And so I try to share that story to encourage other people. It's not the end when you experience something embarrassing.
It feels like it in the moment, but it's not.
Yeah. You know what I always think of? I always think of like some of the traumatic movies I watched when I was
secondary
a kid.
trauma. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, that's a real thing too, especially like in our profession too. Like we hear a lot of things, and friends do too. Like people telling you their trauma affects you as well.
It does.
So it can definitely be a trigger, and you can definitely have like PTSD symptoms just from somebody else's trauma onto you.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to be careful and protect our peace too, especially if we have those friends who like to,
they call you, they dump on you,
and then, and that's just a constant cycle.
Yeah.
Not understanding that that's affecting your mental health too. So
I always say that. Do we have a question?
Yeah. Michaela has a question. How do you address friends and family who need help, and how do you encourage them to get help?
Yes. How do we address friends and family who need help? How do you encourage them to get help? What do you suggest, honey?
So I think for me, a lot of family members don't listen. They really do not listen. You can tell them over and over again if they have a problem, and they're still going to self-medicate.
Right.
They're still not going to go to the doctor. I think for me, I actually not diagnosed myself, but I noticed that something was wrong with me. and I seek the help for myself.
Mhm.
And then other people, I would ask people questions around me, and they would be honest. But it shouldn't take for me to acknowledge that there's a problem with me for me to actually know if there's something wrong. People know it before you do.
Yeah,
so
and they don't say anything.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to friends and family, you have to let them know when they're doing something that's out of character.
Oh, I agree with that.
You have to be like right on it. So if they're doing something that's out of character, or there's patterns in what they're doing, if they're going out too much, or if they're spending, they're doing unnecessary spending, or they're doing it could be a number of things. Their house is messy. That can be a sign that something is going on with them mentally.
Girl,
when it's normally not messy. Now, if you
yeah,
when it's normally not messy,
you're
right? Out of character. Out of character. Yes.
They're actually doing interventions and things like that. There's a show. I don't know if that's still on, but there used to be a show called Intervention where they would actually pull people together and say, we got to go stop them from hurting themselves.
Yeah.
I think those should happen more often in the real world.
Yeah. Because a lot of people like to be in the mess with you. So if you're self-medicating, you're like, for me, I would go out and drink, and I would have people around me, but it was fun for them because I was paying for their drinks. I may have turned into this different person where I was fun and I'm not too serious. So they're not going to really tell you that you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're doing that. They're not going to tell you because they're enjoying it. So a lot
and
of
the
time,
fact that they're enjoying your pain, though,
it's sad, but it's definitely true. I mean, those individuals are no longer connected to me, but I have experienced it. So a lot of people are not going because they enjoy you being wounded. They like that version
because they're getting something out of you that entertains them and keeps them getting whatever it is that they want from you.
Even when they know it's a problem, right? Because some people don't necessarily know, right? It's a problem for you. But 100% there are people in your life, if you're struggling with things, that know there's a problem and will be up in it with you and not say a single thing, even though they know. And those are the people you need to not be around anymore, which is hard.
Yeah, it's like then at that point, that's a reason why some people have a hard time recovering from those toxic situations. It's because they're so invested in these group of people that they have around them. And maybe that's all they've ever had. And maybe that's who they consider their family. Maybe that's someone they grew up with. And that's why I always say, you might have grew up with somebody, or somebody might be someone that's always been family to you, but that doesn't mean that they are family to you. That they could have been that all this time. But once you start to really learn you and take a look at the situations that you're in and how you actually connected with them, if it never actually served a purpose to make you better and make them better, it might be time to cut those people loose.
Absolutely.
Especially when you need them, when you hit rock bottom. And those people that were around you when you were in the mess, if they're not there to pick you up and carry you and help you, they were never there for you in the beginning. And I learned so much. And when I asked God to recreate my circle, send me community, send me people that are like-minded, that can actually speak life into me, because I don't need anybody that's going to speak death into me. No,
absolutely
I'm
not.
supposed to live, not die.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm big on protecting my peace. I can't, I listen for a little bit, but I'm always going to have to protect my peace because I know what my limits are and my boundaries are. And so that's important. I'll just say sometimes it's difficult though to talk to somebody if you do feel that they have an issue for several reasons, probably a million reasons. One is because the person that you want to say something to has a pattern of just getting so defensive when you try to talk to them that you are scared to say something to them, or they get so angry, or you see their temperament and it's you literally like, I'm scared to confront them or say something about them. That happens.
Yeah, that definitely happens. I agree.
And sometimes people just don't know how to say something, or you yourself are the type of person who doesn't have a great tone, so the way you talk to people
might come off a little rude.
Correct.
To them.
There's a lot of reasons why I think people don't know how or don't do it, but I think we just have to get more comfortable with telling the truth. Like, because love is telling the truth. For me, love is not just complacency and putting up with people's mess just because you're scared to tiptoe. Because
Right.
that's not how I want to be loved. If I'm out of pocket, please tell me I'm out of pocket. You don't necessarily have to throw a wrench at me to tell me, but in some way, shape, or form, tell me I'm out of pocket.
Yeah.
And we have to get more comfortable, I think, as a society of just calling people out on their stuff.
I agree.
Tactfully and lovingly.
Tactfully and
that's grown
lovingly.
people conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, that's it right there. Some people come off as aggressive and it doesn't sound like it's coming from a place of love. So like she's saying, it's important to check yourself, check your own temperature
Mhm.
before you go talk to your loved ones.
Yeah.
Right. And the other individual, if they know what type of relationship you guys have, they know your intent.
Yeah.
They know that you mean well, and they know that you're not going to say anything against you to make you feel bad. They only want the best for you.
Right.
And when you know that, that response should be different. It
Sure.
shouldn't be no negative energy there. And if there is, okay, well, it's going to bypass, but as long as you know that you actually address the problem, because the last thing you want to know or hear is the next day or something terrible happening to that individual, because now you're going to be struggling with some mental illnesses or addictions, because now you're putting that guilt on you because you didn't say anything.
Right.
So let's prevent that. Let's talk about it. Let's bring the person to the carpet and say, hey, this is what it is.
I agree.
We got to talk about this.
I agree.
And that doesn't mean that person is going to listen, though, right? So like you said, you can say it. You can have all the love, all the tact in the world and deliver your wonderful message. And they may do the exact opposite, which happens day in and day out. You also can't take that into yourself and personally, right? You have done your part by trying, but sometimes you got to let it go.
Yeah.
You've done what you can. You can't absolve that or absorb all of that negative energy yourself too. So you have to have grace with yourself to say, I've tried, I've done my part, but I'm not bringing that on to me. It's not my battle. It's their battle. I'm trying to work with them. I'm there if they need me. I love them.
Yeah.
I tried to let them know if they decide to come back and do something about it, I'm here. But it's not on you to be carrying around that hurt and pain.
Right. You really can't carry that load and your own load. It's impossible, guys. It's impossible. So we're not telling you to take someone else's issues and make them your own. No. Absolutely not. But if you see someone that you love, that you care about, and they've taken a turn for the worst, and you want to help them get out of that, it's worth a shot to speak up. But also remember who you're dealing with.
That part.
Remember who you're dealing with, because if you think about how they accept love, right? Then you got to come with that love language.
You got to come with that love language. Yes.
So all of that comes together full circle. Let's see some more of the comments here. She says, how do you address friends and family? Okay, we covered that. Hold on. Are you talking about me on this here podcast? God is working on my tone.
A lot of people, it relates to a lot of people though, right? We all have. Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is a lot of people.
Yeah, I love it. She also said, with such a shortage of therapists, how do you suggest people find help when needed? This is a good one for you, honey. What do you think?
I would say there's a lot of coaches out here.
Oh.
So coaches are the next best thing to therapists now.
Okay.
I am a recovery resilience coach. So I'm an individual that assists people to get to recovery. So provide those resources and tools.
I love it.
When I was going through the start of my sobriety, there was not a lot of resources available. So I had to create the resources for myself. So utilize coaches. Also, like, there are some therapists. Of course, I know that there's a shortage, but we also have psychiatrists. And then, a lot of people have private practices, and I'm quite sure you have some other resources as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think even in the city now, there are places who are accepting patients for therapists. Like our clinic right now, the Gerald Ignace Indian Health Center, we have room for patients. Sometimes there's a waiting list where depending on where you go, like Aurora's waiting list for psychiatry anyway, can be 9 months long, etc., which no one wants to hear. Still get on the waiting list, even if it's so long, and then you can continue to look. But progressive clinics, a lot of the community-based clinics and AMRI counseling, there's a lot of places who accept varying types of insurance, Medicare included, private pay as well. So it's just, sometimes it's tenacity and just kind of doing your research a little bit and looking out there and making some phone calls. Because it is work, right? But it's your life. So the process is going to take work in terms of mental wellness. Absolutely. So that initial step of finding a therapist might take a little work too sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that knowing that, forming your own little groups like you did recently.
Yes.
She has a Facebook group.
It's called You Are Not Alone. So it's a support group where we talk about everything mental health, everything that we deal with on a daily basis. And then I give tools and resources, and I talk a lot about my experience, because your experience makes you an expert. And I feel as if I'm an expert. I have college degrees and all of that, but that does not align to me with the experience, because I had the education before I had the experience. And that's crazy, because
and the experience helped it come full circle.
Exactly. So now everything is connected. So the group is actually is for women, and we support one another. I provide a lot of resources and affirmations.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway soon for a NLP training. Have you heard of the NLP?
What does it stand for? So many acronyms.
Yeah, what is that?
It's the neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
So neuro-linguistic programming. Okay.
Yes.
NLP.
So it's actually a program. It's a training that gives you the tools and resources to reprogram your brain.
So these are for individuals.
Yes. So I'm going to be doing classes and courses to help individuals to, because there are some things that I remember that stopped me from overcoming certain things. So you can actually reprogram your brain by going back to those moments where it first occurred, like where fear started, where guilt started. And
it sounds like dialectical behavior therapy too. Okay. Very helpful.
So those are pretty much one and the same?
Sort of.
Okay.
So the training is going to be held in Wausau. I actually took the training, I believe, about a month ago. It's in Wausau. It's a full weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Fight AAA will actually cover the expenses for travel, hotel, and actually the cost of the training. When you walk away with all of these tools to actually overcome you're going to be a totally different person. Because the way I think now, I think totally different, because now I have those tools and those resources. Like, a lot of people is not going to really shake me too much.
Can I give you a clap? Because
100%.
When you have those tools and resources, baby, a lot of stuff is not going to be the same.
Right.
You're going to be able to walk different, think different, all of that. And I just want this for everybody. I think everybody should experience it. So I am giving away to 2 individuals. So
wow.
Yes.
Wow. We're going to have to make sure we put the information
absolutely. It sounds like
in
a
the
great
comments.
prize.
Yes. So we can give people that opportunity, girl.
Yes.
Way to go. I love it. I love it. What else we got? A lot of companies that people work for offer EAPs that will cover free therapy sessions for services like BetterHelp, etc. Take advantage of that benefit.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that's a great suggestion. Wow. Actually, this is the first time I'm actually clapping for a comment. And you get that.
BetterHelp is expensive too. So thank you for giving that resource.
Yeah, that is amazing. Rose says, can everyone join You Are Not Alone? Women only.
Women only, but I can send you an invite. So I'm going to make sure I actually go on here later on today, and I'll send you an invite. Okay, Rose?
That is my sister. So I can actually do it for you.
Okay. All right.
Didn't know you were interested, Rose, but yes, let's get you in there, sweetheart. Awesome. I got you. And someone down there, Akash, I'm interested. Come to inbox. Yeah. Let's try that after the show.
Makaya up there had a comment too. Looked like a good one.
Oh, she does have a great one here. She says, how do you weed through the good help and the scammers, because some people are definitely not in the field helping people. I agree with that. What do you think?
That is so true.
How do you weed through the scammers? How do you keep people from taking advantage of our pain?
Mm.
Ooh, wow.
You can't really keep them from doing it, but maybe research it somehow. I don't know.
100% you have to do your research.
Yeah.
Once again, if you are using like professional therapists and psychiatrists and psychologists, they shouldn't be trying to scam you.
Right.
They may not be the best fit for you, because you can have a therapist and they can be a great therapist, but just not a great therapist for you. So you still have to figure that out. But they shouldn't be scammers. Other than that, just do your research, word of mouth, and feel things out. Probably if there's just a random person that you don't know, saying, hey, tell me all your stories, and I have these things that are going to help you so much, and they have no experience, or you have maybe.
If it feels a little weird, or if it feels
gut.
Fishy, it's probably fishy.
Yeah.
And if they're not being transparent, or they're not sharing personal stories of their own, not even just for them, but personal stories within, like, I would say clients that they've dealt with, or they really don't have a lot of, they can't really explain certain things, like answer your questions or whatnot. I think that shows if they're a scammer or not. But I think in all reality, when it comes to mental health, a lot of time when they're, in therapy, everybody has to have some type of certification. You got to be licensed to be a therapist. You got to have the education. You have to have that paperwork to show that you're qualified to do this job. And I will suggest doing that work yourself by actually doing your own research, because I don't want to just be telling anybody and everybody my business, because a lot of the times those people, they have access to your medical records, so you have to really be careful, on who you talk to and who you give your information to.
And if you're not improving, if you are seeing somebody, whether they're a professional or a therapist, like a credentialed or not, if you're not seeing any improvement in the areas you're trying to seek, it's probably just best to move on, period. Whether they're trying to scam you or not, the point of all of this is to have a treatment plan, have some goals set, and start meeting those goals.
Right.
So if you're not doing that, it's time to do something different.
Yeah, it's definitely time to do something different. I hope that response helped. And if you still have more questions, I'm pretty sure either one of the ladies wouldn't mind helping address those later on, to help you get the resources that you need. Cassandra here says, I'm looking for a family therapist. I hope that you find exactly what you're looking for. That is also becoming more common, I noticed.
Which is
families
amazing.
going to therapy together. That's great. Kudos to you, honey.
Absolutely. Especially period.
Yeah,
you're in a family unit. And you have some stress and strife going on with it. Together go.
Absolutely.
With children, it's rare that it's just a child who is having an issue by themselves. Parents get involved, go to therapy with your children, find out how we can work this thing out together. Family therapy is an amazing step.
It definitely is. It definitely is. I'm gonna clap for that. I totally agree with that. That's great. All right, guys. So we are about to wrap up season 2, episode 3 of Minding My Own Podcast. And I have learned so much from you ladies today. I can't thank you enough for coming here. I feel like you've impacted so many lives today. Just to let the stress go of trying to figure out some of the things you shared today, just to be able to listen and watch in the comfort of their own homes and figure it out without digging through YouTube, digging through all these other platforms to find those answers. You've already helped them reach a level where they either feel like they're partially there in some way, shape, or form, and on their way to the road of success to dealing with those things. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you for the platform to be doing this yourself. Without you, no one will be getting the information. So
thank you.
For sure.
And you know what? Mental health is a very sticky subject. So thank you for just allowing us to come and actually doing this, because people want to talk about everything else. They don't want to talk about what's going on.
Right.
So thank you.
Thank
you.
They act like they was born yesterday, don't they? No, you guys know this stuff is going on. Don't be afraid. Let it out. Talk to somebody. These are some of the key things we learned today. Really dig deep. and listen to your body.
Listen to
Listen to your body. Your
body.
body is not lying. If you feel intense, if you feeling uncomfortable in situations, don't let it roll off your back. That is not a good time to do that. Go deeper, analyze that, and figure it out so that you can live the life you deserve to live.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Yes.
All right, girl. So we're gonna go. We're gonna let you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. I will see you guys again next week. And y'all have a great